okay, can you do psychometry? I said, yeah. She gave me her keys, and I held them and rattled off some names and this and that, and she explained stuff. And then I said, I see a fat, blue-eyed blonde woman named Shelley who's always screaming a lot. Who is this? Well, that was an unflattering, albeit accurate, description of her best friend, Shelley Winters, the actress. Yeah, so anyway, Dr. Moss was impressed with what I could do. So they ran a study on me, which ran for a couple of years. And, okay, so the clinical, I discussed on my website in my bio. And, okay, so you're psychic. You've been tested in a laboratory clinical environment at a university. Okay. What does that do for us? Well, not much. I mean, okay, you could do what other people can't. But why you? Why me? Why anyone? So while a volunteer in the lab, I became a research assistant. And I had two things I was interested in primarily. One was taking normal, healthy people who are not in psychoanalysis or in psychotherapy and see if you could train them to be more psychic, to enhance whatever inherent potential they had by applying, positive feedback and reinforcement to certain situations so they could learn. It's a learning paradigm. So we did that and went on for years. We had people in a sensory-deprived environment, and it was sort of the beginnings of remote viewing before there was remote viewing, at least technically speaking. And we can get back to this later, but that's one end of the work. And it was interesting because we do this every week, sometimes several times a week, over and over. And the results were pretty consistent. And what we saw was that, like in every aspect of life, race driving, if you're an athlete, if you're racing a car, or you're playing basketball or baseball or football or hockey, some people are really good at this, other people are not. And most people up and down. There's you can't measure it to speak of. Okay, and we learned a lot during this research. Went on from 1970 through 1980. 6, I believe, although the lab shut down in 1980 and we all left the university. Now, the other end of my work, which is far more compelling in terms of potentially witnessing something physical, was investigation of ghosts and hauntings and poltergeists and apparitions. And after 51 years, I've had over 4,000 cases, the majority of which nothing happens in. It doesn't. It's like, what are the odds of going to an airport? You're waiting in line to get into the facility to have your baggage checked. You're still outside, and God forbid a plane goes down. What's the odds of it happening while you're there with your cell phone camera? It happens, but it's rare.
Yeah, very rare.
Yeah, so the most important thing is to start with the physical phenomena. Everything I thought I would learn, I didn't. Everything I never thought I would encounter, I did. Put it this way. Okay, let's put it real simple. If you've got a DVD in your hand, you want to watch it, what do you need? Well, you need a DVD player that works. It's got to be plugged in the wall. It's got to be connected to a television. That has to be plugged in the wall. You've got to have a remote to operate it. If any part of the ensemble is missing, you get no image on your television. And this, apparently, what's going on in the paranormal. But instead of needing the DVD and the player and the TV, here are the conditions, the prerequisites that seem to be significant. One is location, location, location. Certain areas have anomalous electromagnetic or geomagnetic properties. And if one is hypersensitive to them, that could trigger events. But it's more complicated than that. If you not only hypersensitive to these subtle forces that we have in the world, but also you happen to be seizure-prone or epileptic, that dramatically increases the probability of your encountering phenomena.
I didn't know that.
Now, we didn't even think about this. And the other aspect is you have very low coping mechanisms for stressful situations. Now, here's what's interesting. almost every case of poltergeist I've investigated, there have been thousands, the majority of the people are either seizure-prone or epileptic. And when they're epileptic, if they start taking their medication, the phenomena stops. They get sick of the meds because sometimes it makes you nauseous or dizzy and disoriented. They stop taking it, the seizures return, and phenomena returns. And you bring up a really current thing that happened. Now, I almost died in 2015 and 16. That's why I'm out of Los Angeles for a while. So after being in the hospital for a long time, I had to stay with a friend. And I've known this man for 25 years. We're good friends. But I didn't know him that well. So I come to live with him in the desert. He had lived there for, 18 years, not one paranormal event, nothing. In fact, a little unnerved by the whole thing. So I come to stay with him in April of 2017. I move in, and, beautiful place, comfortable, quiet, very serene, very, very magnanimous. It was gorgeous. It was opulent. So 5 weeks go by, and things start happening in his house. I'm on the couch watching TV one night. There's a woman's voice to my right yelling my name. I flew off the couch because I was the only one in the house. My friend was not around. So what was that? Oh, maybe I was sleeping and I didn't know it. Then I'm going to sleep one night, lay down, and I feel warm breath against my left cheek. A woman's voice goes, "You remember me, Barry, don't you? You didn't forget me." What? I wasn't asleep, jumped up. There were red and green lights zipping around the room. Okay. Weeks later actually, there was at 2:45 a.m., there was a woman's voice in the corridor, but goes down to the back of the house, yelling the name Mikey. I don't know what name Mikey. My friend I was staying with doesn't know a Mikey. When we were moving out of that house to this house, voices, conversations going on, and I thought it was the movers. Nope. I thought it was my friend with the movers. Nope. I go down to see it. There's nothing there. Come back. Wait in the living room. They're back in the back. And so I thought, okay. So we move out of the house in November 2017. That's behind me. Move in a new place, which is larger, more comfortable than the first place. And it took about 6 months, maybe. And suddenly things began to happen here. The reason I'm going through this is the end result was like another slap in the face, again, of the nature of this. Luminous anomalies in the house, disembodied voices, like in the other place. It got really even stranger than that. This was actually last year. I'm laying down to sleep one night, and I'm alone in my own bedroom, and I wake up a couple hours later, but about a little after 3 in the morning, and my head is resting, but it's no longer on the pillow. And it's still light enough for me to see in the bedroom, and there's someone in bed next to me. It's a woman with long brown hair, high brow ridge, arching eyebrows, more melanin in her skin than I have in mine. And what the hell's going on? And in order to get to a lamp on that stand next to my bed, I had to reach over her because she was between me and the lamp. And she starts going, "Don't turn the light on, don't turn the light on." I went, what? And I leaned over, pushing her. I could feel her. And turn the light on, there's nothing there. But there was hair left in the bed that did not belong to me. Okay. And then I smell a strange odor. It wasn't bad, wasn't good. Just a body odor I was not familiar with. Oh, okay. That was in, I think, May of last year. Then, on August 15th, I hit the jackpot. Something wakes me up at 3:52 in the morning. Something is slicing into the underside of my right arm. I get jumped, what the? And I see not people. I see 3 diminutive humanoids next to me, next to my bed.
What do they look like?
3.5 to 4 feet tall. Their skin was very reptilian in nature. The black eyes, the classic gray alien. And they freaked out when they were aware that I was no longer asleep. They jumped back, and they kind of bounced around, and they turned and went right through my desk and through the wall. So I get up, turn the lights on, my arm's bleeding. There's a scar. Not a scar, it's bleeding. There's a good cut in it. I get up, I encountered a really bad odor. It smelled like, well, it was hydrogen sulfide. That it was really strong in my bedroom, in the hallway outside my bedroom leading to the bathroom, and in the bathroom. They had to spray it with Lysol. So, and I cleaned my arm and dressed it and put a bandage on it, and I went back to sleep about 90 minutes later. So, the end, it's as strange as these are, they're not as strange as to what I learned about all of this. The friend I've been living with his health's not that good, even though he's a generation younger than me. He's only like 53 years old. So I discovered by accident that one of the meds he's on is taken for people who are seizure prone. And I asked him, he says, yeah, he gets these focal seizures in certain muscle groups. It's also used for a lot of other things, but it's an anticonvulsant. And I thought, this is interesting. And he had stopped taking it. And that's when the thing kicked up. So what I'm saying here, we've seen that the majority, if not all, of poltergeist agents tend to be either seizure-prone or epileptic. However, most people who are seizure-prone or epileptic are not poltergeist agents, which means that somewhere in the middle, there's something extraordinary going on, a missing or unknown variable. And I was amazed. So now all this makes sense. Now, since we've come up with this element or this parameter in what's going on, it makes sense. And since we've discussed it, the events have dramatically diminished in frequency and intensity because he is conscious of these things. Once there's conscious intervention, everything grinds to a halt for the most part.
Now, hey, Barry. Now, we got to go on break for the radio station, so we're going to be about a 3-minute break. Come back. I got to ask you a question that is driving me crazy. I have a son that we know that he's schizophrenic, adult son, but he's an epileptic. And back about 12 years ago, he had 15 seizures, one after another. And they overdosed him in the hospital with anti-seizure medicine. And when the doctor, found out it was like he was 100 times overdosed with it. But when he come back, I just got to tell you a couple of things he did and what happened. And then after we had him removed from the house, what stopped happening. So we'll be back in 2.5 minutes with Dr. Barry Taff on Night Dreams Talk Radio. So just, hang in, get a jab or a cup of tea, and we'll be right back.
Thanks.
Sun diving for a dream, scintillas in the stream, hoping for what's true. I'm trawling for honor in this shallow pool. Borealis starlit crown arches over the Puget Sound. Berenice's hair drapes the horizon to the full air. Where is my lucky star tonight? The seventh sister